I needed a mailbox.
Good to have y'all here. Everyone that's in physical here and those that are on the electronic stuff, we welcome each one of you to the Davidson County Board of Commissioners Monday, February the 13th, 2023 meeting. If you have cell phones, could you please turn them off or put them on silent so you won't disturb the folks that are making presentations. We're going to do the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love. Thank you for all the blessings that you have given to us as county, state, and country. Lord, you have given us responsibility through the citizens to set and to do business of the county. We would pray, Lord, that you would give us wisdom to act as we should in accordance with your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Lost my thumb there for a minute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We didn't put the flags in the front and back as a test, but
Some of y'all passed. It was good.
right. Sheriff, you have a recognition?
Yes, I do. Whole family, y'all stand with me now. It's a sad occasion for me.
Yeah, imagine.
Having another retiree, sad but very happy. Got another one to the finish line. My captain, Brian Grubb, captain over SRO program and with our schools. He's done an outstanding job. He's my go-to guy. Just like part of me, I feel like one of my hands been cut off today as things have went on. I've tried to get through the day, but it's been tough with him. I know he's been to the beach, but he came back. We wanted to present him with his service weapon, if y'all so would do, in his badge today. But I'm very happy for him, very happy for his family and his next career. And thank you so much, Brian. Caston.
Thank you, Chairman, each one of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheriff, for the kind remarks. It is a bittersweet time in my life, but I started making this decision, getting law enforcement at the age of 18, and I'm 49 now, so it's time to pass the torch to the young guys, because it is a young man's game. I have enjoyed my time with the school system. It's been remarkable, met a ton of great people. If you look at my Facebook feed from my retirement, last 1042 last week, I mean, there's several people that I hadn't heard from in years, and it was great just to see them reach out and acknowledge that. I feel overwhelmed from that. But thanks again for all this county's done for me. This is my home county. I was born and raised here. I plan on staying here till the day I die. So this is home.
Amen.
So we try to make it the best we can. We have our work cut out for us now more than ever in law enforcement. Things have changed. Society's changed. The appreciation for law enforcement's not there like it used to be. But we do our best each and every day, and the sheriff's making some good decisions, getting some things rolling that need to be moved and going in the right direction in this county for years. So we're heading that direction, and I hope they continue to build on that. And it's funny, I was born and raised in Holly Grove. The new sheriff's office is right around the corner. So I'll be spending a lot of time right around the corner from you, Sheriff. So, but anyway, thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations on your retirement.
Amen.
Y'all come up for a picture.
Amen.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you much again
Great job,
for
buddy.
your service.
Thank you. sir.
Thank you, Ron.
The representation for the Council of Chambers is supposed to be Tyler Allred. Are you here? Okay, well, he missed the $100 reward that we was gonna give. We also, would recognize, Mayor Ward, and we will call on him for some, words later. Also, Rick Phillips from the Airport Board Chairman. We appreciate you being here as well. Recognition of veterans.
You know, as we walk through our daily life, we recognize every day that the freedoms that we enjoy didn't come freely.
Amen.
And we give honor and praise to those who have stepped forward in servitude to the American people. Thank you. Are there any veterans in the audience? If you would, raise your hand. Okay, any of you not received the pin, the veterans pin that the county would like to give to you? Mayor Ward? Come up, please.
Rick, you got one, Rick?
Rick, you got one?
Okay.
Any others?
They only $20.
Thank you, Mayor, for your service, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. We have another recognition and award, and Commissioner Watford will lead this off.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure, to greet, and announce our teaching scholarship winner today. Of course, it's close to
Put your mic up.
Sorry, close to my heart. Sorry about that. The $5,000 Davidson County Teaching Scholarship was awarded out of the fall application period, and we recognize, and I'll call you, come on up here in just a few minutes, Sierra Davis, who is a graduate of Ledford High School and a senior at Western Government University, North Carolina. She's pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree in special education. The check presented this evening is for $2,500, and she will receive her final check of the same amount issued in June. The Davidson County Teaching Scholarship is intended to encourage residents of Davidson County who attend or will attend college to teach students in schools in Davidson County by offering and funding scholarships for qualified students to help pay for tuition and other expenses. This program began in 2000, and we have distributed over 130 scholarships to date. Two of the requirements are that you must have a GPA of at least 2.8 and agree to teach for at least 3 years at one of our 3 school systems or an approved private school in Davidson County. This individual has far exceeded the requisite GPA for consideration of this scholarship. So, Sierra, if you'll come join me, I have the check.
Yay!
All right, man, I guess I might be doing pictures right there, I don't know.
You did this.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're all sending one of these.
Thank you, young lady.
Good job.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you're interested in speaking at the public address, we'd appreciate it if you'd sign up on the pad down here, and we'll call upon you in a little bit. Mr. Shores is attending NACO conference. Commissioner Shores is doing that, and on our behalf. He's unable to be at this meeting. Can I have a motion and second to excuse him?
Motion to excuse. Second.
You want this verbal?
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll go to the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes for the agenda?
Seeing none, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, cast your vote. Is anyone registered for public address?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right, that was good.
And all of the votes are in. And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
All right. Next, we start the public hearing on Project Gemini Economic Development Incentive Grant. Mr. Goodson.
He's requesting people.
It's just, there's
Huh?
a request to continue it, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We're gonna continue this until February 27th. I didn't read far enough.
I didn't catch that either.
Can I have a motion and second to continue the matter to February 27th agenda?
Motion to continue.
Second,
Second.
cast your vote. We have a rezoning request by Dewey Jason Gibson in Conrad Hill Township containing 1.552 acres from HI to RA3.
And Mr. Chairman, the vote for the last one was approved by a vote of 6-0.
I thought you already said that.
No, sir.
Thank you,
Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do have a request by Dewey Jason Gibson to rezone property located in Conrad Hill Township, tax map 22, portions of lot 29D and 29E containing approximately 1.552 acres. Said property is located at the end of a private easement on the north side of Cunningham Brickyard Road, approximately 1,015 feet east of the Bryant Road intersection. Rezoning is requested to change from that of HI Heavy Industrial District to that of RA3 Rural Agricultural District. Mr. Gibson is in the audience, but to briefly go over it, if you direct your attention to the screen, all of this property in here is Heavy Industrial District. If the board will remember, I think back about 2015, we rezoned these tracts here from HI to RA3 so that they could build a house here. The Cunningham Brickyard property is right here and off a little bit to the east in this area to give you a reference point. Mr. Gibson wants to rezone 1.552 acres right in the middle of this HI, and with the chairman's permission, would ask him to come up and elaborate on that.
Declare the public hearing open. Mr. Gibson, you want to come forward and tell us what you're going to do?
Yes, sir. So we bought that land, all that property right there 8 years ago. My parents live in the house right beside of it. My dad has terminal cancer, so I'd like to be closer to them just to be able to take care of them.
Okay.
The house we currently have is right, Nucor's right behind us. So it's a lot of noise. We'd like to get out of there and get somewhere a little quieter.
All right. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions by the board? Does anyone have any, in the audience, have any statements either for or against this rezoning request? Declare the public hearing closed. You want to vote?
Yeah.
You want to give the,
Yes, sir, be glad to. Staff's gonna report support the request. The land development plan for the area, it's in, forecast residential growth in this area. There are numerous policy statements that support going to the residential zoning classification, and we would ask that you approve it and adopt a statement of consistency, please.
any further discussion by the board?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, cast your vote.
You got a second there?
Yeah.
Chris, I'm good. You got it.
Based on the statement of consistency.
And approving the resolution, I think.
That's right. That's what she said.
We have a rezoning,
All
I'm
of the
sorry.
votes are in, and this motion is going to, I can get my computer.
I'm gonna have to slow down or Debbie's gonna have to speed up. I don't know which one's gonna do.
Motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
Amen.
She's on the old computer,
Congratulations.
she can't go so
No, I
fast.
have to get the absences in there since we don't have everyone here. It won't kick me forward.
I got a good excuse. The last time I was chair, we did it by voice vote. That was a while back. Okay, rezoning request by Buell Barker, you wanna go ahead?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. It's my understanding that Mr. Barker is out of town tonight. So, Todd Everhart, his surveyor and representative is gonna be here to ask for a continuance for this application. We would like to ask that you continue it to March 27th at 6:00 PM in this room.
Motion to continue, Mr. Chairman. Second.
All in favor, cast your vote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Rezoning request by Eric
Can we,
Bautista.
I don't have all the votes in yet. Can we hold on just a second? I've got Commissioner Shores, Commissioner McClure.
You
Can I
gotta
your
get fast fingers.
Have you got my vote?
Go.
vote? Can I get your vote?
Yeah,
I don't have it.
you don't have it.
No. Thank you.
Do we have a vote in second?
Amen.
We got all that?
We do. And
You'll just have to turn his mic off, Debbie, till you're ready.
Yeah.
That'll work. We're going as fast as Richard Petty up here now.
Let me give you this gavel and you can just.
And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
Todd, you might have to let him drive your race car. He likes going fast.
If he can't hear himself talk, then
That's right.
he'll wait.
And we have a rezoning request by Eric Bautista in Tyro, Kent Township, containing 2.80 acres from RA2 to CZRC.
That's a mouthful.
It
isn't
is a
Chairman?
mouthful.
Yes, sir. All right, yes. Last but not least, we do have a request by Eric Batista to rezone property located in Tyro Township, tax map 33, lot 23, containing 2.8 acres more or less. Said property is located on the west side of Michael Road, approximately 515 feet north of the Front Street intersection, at the address 425 Michael Road. Rezoning is requested to change from that of RA2, Rural Agricultural District, to that of CZRC, Conditional Zoning, Rural Commercial District. Mr. Batista has submitted a conditional zoning application. I think he wants to build some mini storage warehouses on this property. The conditions that he submitted are contained in the packet. There are 5 of them there. I don't know if you want me to go through those for the record, but they will be part of the application, which I think.
Go ahead and go through them for the record.
Okay. There are 5 conditions. A, it would be a mini self-storage building only. B, he's proposing a 5-foot steel wire with pressure-treated round post fencing on the perimeter of the property. C, he's submitting he would apply and receive a commercial driveway permit. D, he's proposing landscaping, trees along Michael Road, the frontage to hide the site and capture dust. And E, he's proposing to put security lighting up that will be directed straight onto the building and not adjoining properties.
All right. We declare the public hearing open. Mr. Batista, am I pronouncing your name right?
Sort of.
All right, sort of. Well, sort of is better than not at all. Come on up and tell us what you're gonna do.
Just call him by Eric.
Yeah.
That's right. So I like to be able to, build 3 30 by 200 foot storage buildings. I brought a site plan if I can pass it around.
What's the size of them again?
30 by 200. I didn't bring it up for everybody.
Okay, all right, we can.
It's like 3 of them.
We got anything up there?
Well, the proposed idea that I would like to be able to build on that piece of property. 3
It's gonna be that
buildings, 30 by 200.
down the
belong.
road. Straight back. Go ahead,
Oh,
You done?
I think so, yeah.
All right. You have a seat. Does the board have any questions that you want to ask?
It's not in the watershed, I take it.
No, sir, this is not in the watershed. Watershed is west of 150 out there,
Okay.
to the Yakin Riverside, yes, sir.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak either in favor of or against this rezoning request? You don't have any additional information, do you? Okay. Now, declare the public hearing closed. What's the staff recommendation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The staff is going to point out that this property is completely surrounded by residential zoning. It's mainly farmland and sparsely developed single-family dwellings. We do recognize that there is some development going on out along Old Salisbury Road and Front Street that this could potentially, serve, but we feel like this is probably not the proper location for this type of use, given this existing development pattern. Let's see. The closest non-residential development is over a quarter mile away out at Old Salisbury Road and the intersection of Michael Road. There is some non-residential development out here, some industrial and small commercial, and we would contend that this application does not meet Article 7 of the zoning ordinance, which would require it being contiguous or changing conditions in order to change the zoning to non-residential. And we would cite the Davidson County Economic Development Plan, statements 1.3, 1.7, 5.1, 5.3, 5.4, and 5.7 that would unfortunately support denying this request. So staff feels compelled to recommend denial of the application.
Discussion by the board?
Mr. Chairman, I've got one.
Go ahead.
So the last time that we had something similar to this, it was kind of in the same genre, surrounded by residential, and because of that, and it didn't meet these specifications, we denied it. So am I right in thinking that it didn't?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
What did the planning board, what was their?
The planning board recommend denial 3-1.
3-1.
And your staff recommendation is to deny.
That is accurate, yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, unfortunately.
Any other questions, discussion? Either way. Okay, motion and second to either approve or deny the rezoning request and to adopt the resolution of statement inconsistency.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to deny the request based off our statement of consistency and the individual not meeting the articles in our policies.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Cast your vote.
No would be against the application, or?
Yes means that you are going to vote to deny.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure of.
All of the votes are in. And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Crook.
All right. That's
Move
all
on
I've got
to
for you.
the items for decision or information. Are there any items to remove from the consent agenda for discussion? Could I have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Vice Chair Yates, can I get your vote, please? For some reason, it didn't come through.
Who, mine?
Yes, please.
The reason it didn't come through is I didn't push the button. I'm off somewhere else right now. I'll be back.
All of the votes are in. And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
Okay. Deliberation items, we have an annexation request from the Denton Development Group LLC Tractor Supply Company. And Mr. Leonard's gonna lead it off, and then I'd like to give Mayor Ward an opportunity to speak.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I appreciate the time. I have a request by the Denton Development Group, and if I could, Debbie, I think of the last site on that PowerPoint may show the location of this site in particular. The board approved this for a rezoning some time ago for a new Tractor Supply store to be placed just south of the town limits of Denton. I am here to introduce Mr. Gavin Malia, who is going to represent that store, or represent Denton Development Group, and as you mentioned, Mayor Ward is here to speak on behalf of the town as well. Senate Bill 907 recently passed, which does require for towns inside the county limitations to come and ask for permission for annexation when it involves non-residential development, which this will. And that's why they are before you tonight. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have, but as you can see on the board, that's the location of the site in question and its relationship to the town. Gavin, if you'll come on up, and I'll turn it over to you.
And Scott, last name?
Malia.
Thank you.
M-E-L-I-A.
Thank you.
Is that pronounced
Amelia.
Amelia?
Like Amelia, but with no A at the start.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks very much. I'm with a developer that has been building tractor supplies since 2006. We've built them everywhere from Surf City, North Carolina, as far east as that, and as far west as Yuma, Arizona.
Wow.
And we've done about 50 projects. But the first time I stepped foot in Denton, North Carolina, I thought, wow, if ever there was a town that was made for a tractor supply, it was Denton. We're in the ETJ for Denton. We are connecting to a sewer manhole down at Knopman Mill Road. We're putting a force main in. We feel that an annexation to the town of Denton is appropriate, and it's typical for Tractor Supply to apply for annexation when they're so close to a town. And that's really it. We'd like to be annexed. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Ward?
Good to see y'all tonight.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Very good. Yeah, our town's very excited about the addition of Tractor Supply there. It's been a great fit for Denton. I think it's right on the money.
Amen.
I think it's exactly what our town needs. And I hope you'll do this. What questions for me?
Anyone have any questions for Mayor?
Water's provided by Handy. The town's gonna do the sewer. They're well underway. The weather, I think it's held him up for a couple of months maybe, all that rain.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate you coming up.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments by the board?
No, sir.
Can I have a motion and second to either approve or deny this annexation request?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve it.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Cast your vote.
All of the votes are in. And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
A recommendation from the Airport Authority for an airport name change. Our lawyer and the DCAA members will lead this off.
Mr. Chairman, I think my name appeared on it simply because I was in discussion with the attorney for the Airport Authority, Mr. McNeil, and the drafting of the resolution that is before you tonight, but I'll step aside in favor of the...
Well, your name was on here, so you're gonna have to speak. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners.
First, thank you for bumping me up on the agenda. I appreciate that tonight. Our board met on January 25th, right in this room. And primarily because of what you guys have done for us, what this board has done for us at the airport, and the fact that we're able to start making some things really move out there now. We have talked about for a long time, but we think it's really time now to look at doing something that intensifies or beefs up the name of our airport rather than just Davidson County Airport, which can have a bit of a rural or Piper Cub sounding airport, that we'd like to change it when we came and approved a resolution to change the name to Davidson County Executive Airport. And we plan to present that to the North Carolina Department of Aviation and to the FAA, and would ask that you guys would favor that resolution and join us in that. And so I ask you tonight for your approval of that, for your granting us or standing with us in accomplishing that.
Board have any comments? I like the name of it. Sounds good. Appreciate that, sir.
Motion
I have-
to approve?
Yeah, that was going there.
Like Todd has done.
A second?
Second.
Cast your vote.
Thank you, sir.
All of the votes are in. And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you very much
So I
for coming.
thank you, sir, very much, and I'll share that with our board in this room next Wednesday night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next, we have an environmental health shift premium policy. That's good to say. Mr. Smith and Mr. Martin will lead that off.
Hey, man, I'm gonna let Jason handle this, as he's done a lot of legwork on this issue.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm gonna call Lillian up to the podium to kind of help me with this. And I'll be as brief as I can. What you have before you tonight is an environmental health shift premium. And this is designed to kind of help work through the backlog of environmental health applications that are down at the health department right now. Originally in the packets this evening was a proposal for an hourly amount, and we are withdrawing that, and you should have an updated copy of the policy in front of you. And I'll just kind of, we can ignore the one that was there starting last week. We've come up with a better option we feel is a better option at this point. The policy, this was drafted, Lillian, myself, and Tony Dill worked on this together. And what the quick and dirty of this is, it is a proposal to pay as an incentive to environmental health employees if they work on Saturdays and Sundays, a $100 per application cleared payment. They would also receive their normal pay, and in cases where they are in an overtime status, they would be paid at an overtime rate. The clear definition is that all the on-site work has been completed. It's either approved or it's denied. The only thing that's left for the environmental health staff to do is to go out and perform a final inspection in the event that it's a new septic system that goes in. So this would apply to improvement permits, construction authorizations. There are, and I'm gonna put it in terms that I'm more familiar with, and I know Lillian's gonna cringe when I say this. An improvement permit is what we think of as a perk test or a soil evaluation. So that's the improvement permit. The construction authorization would be the authorization to go ahead and install the system. It's been designed, and to install it. And I'll let Lillian correct me where I'm wrong.
Doing great.
Okay, so it's approved to go in. That's important because at that point, then they can pull their building permits. So this is all part of the process with central permitting. Then you also have situations where there's an improvement permit and a construction authorization together, where the citizen or the developer will apply for that, and they get the soil evaluation done, environmental health goes out, does that, they come back, design the system, and then issue the construction authorization. Then building authorizations, which I use another old term, which is a reconnect, at an existing system that's being reused. Or potentially, if there's an addition to a piece of property or to a house, that would also be a building authorization. Provided that they make any changes to it that they need to do, as well. And then there's also mobile home reconnects. So if a mobile home is pulled off of a piece of property, they want to reuse the system, assuming it hasn't failed, they can reconnect a new one as long as there's, generally speaking, there's not more bedrooms in the mobile home. It should be able to be reused as long as it's not failing. And then also repairs. So this is an issue, there's an issue with the septic system there, and now there's a repair that needs to be done on the septic system. So just kind of giving you that information there. I'm going to continue on here. How the policy would work, they would have to receive approval from the health director, from Lillian, or from her designee, the supervisor down there as well, could approve this. And then they would, if the employee works on a weekend day, they will receive the shift premium for all cleared applications, in addition to being paid their normal rate of pay and or overtime pay if applicable. Eligible employees will forfeit the shift premium if they have an unauthorized, unscheduled absence at any time during a pay period, that they work on a Saturday or Sunday, and then the list of exceptions there: bereavement, leave, workers' comp, military duty, FMLA, and jury duty. As it stands, this policy would sunset on June 30th, 2023. And the reason why we put that in there is the proposal to pay for this will be through lapsed salaries in the environmental health section. Right now, we feel fairly confident that there's enough there we're projecting between now and the end of the fiscal year to cover this. And that would cover both the actual $100 for application and any overtime that would incur as well. The second page of this proposal is something that Lillian put together. This is a maintenance of productivity policy. This would be an internal policy for the department. And it's basically how, Lillian, I'll let you kind of explain this a little bit.
Sure. This is the way that we determine that we are maintaining our weekly throughput, as well as keeping a level pace on the weekends when we offer this shift premium. There's one thing in this document here from Lillian that I think is interesting, and it's a good reference to have. This is provided by the state, am I correct, with the average? In other counties. In other counties, yeah. The average time to complete these different types of applications. So some may take longer, some may take shorter amount of time, but this gives something to kind of gauge by.
So are we paying $100 for a reconnect as well? I kind of missed that part. I was reading something.
Basically, this would pay for anything where there's a cleared application. Now, there's an equity piece in managing this that the health department would have to do. Obviously, they're going to have to give out, you can't give one person nothing but reconnects, and then somebody else has something, they can only get one done in a day.
And the reason I say that a reconnect's probably, what kind of time is it on this chart here?
I don't have it right in front of me. I think it's 3/4 of an hour. The thing about that, the reason we didn't want to take it out, we did have that exact discussion, but it just seemed to be a misuse of time. If somebody was doing an IP, a soil evaluation right next door to a place that needed a mobile home reconnect, and they happened to be out there, those folks are waiting too, and I'd hate for them to get skipped out on because it wasn't included as part of this policy. But as the assistant manager said, definitely very deliberate assignment of work during the week by the supervisor to ensure a good mix of those assignments for folks working on Saturday and Sunday.
Because that's pretty easy money, you know? $100 for 40,000.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Any other comments?
I'd say before we go to June with this, why don't we give it a trial period like we do in the other? And what do we do over at EMS?
We started about January, and we'll be talking to you all in March, so give, say, 2 months.
Yeah, I think I was going to say 60 days.
let's do 60
I agree.
days here and see how it works and what kind of returns we got.
Okay.
We'll go from there instead of implementing it all the way to
Mm-hmm.
June. Ain't working, we'll have to make some tweaks somewhere.
Any other comments? You'll make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that a motion that we approve this till a 60-day trial period.
I second that.
Motion made and second. Any other comment?
I'd like to ask our county manager a question then. If this were available, why did we get so far back down in permits before we implemented this? It's costing a lot of people a lot of money out there, so why didn't we do it a lot earlier than now, when we were like 200 behind?
Just didn't have the ideas, just like we had for the private sector guy, the headhunter, or the private
That's fair
company.
enough. That's fair
I mean, we just didn't have, at the earliest, the best ideas.
Hey, we learn from.
Starting to learn from what we were doing and bringing stuff more offensively as opposed to defensively.
Yeah.
And I think the move you guys made with, allowed me to make the move with Mr. Beeson's firm, Piedmont Environmental, and we'll be bringing back RFQs for a bigger slice of that pie at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have 3 or 4 of these groups working in conjunction. That's probably going to be the biggest game changer of them all. It'll make more work on Lillian's staff too. You know what I mean? There'll be more finals coming in. Hopefully, all those finals don't come in all at one time, but at some point in time, you see the writing on the wall that you cannot get through the backlog the way things are. So you've got to make a move.
Keep chasing your tail.
Right.
I do have one other question, Lillian.
Yes, sir.
I noticed there hadn't been a lot of overtime worked over there. And, you know, we've required some of our other departments to work overtime when they're in such a demand. If this don't work, are we going to some overtime, requirements to where?
That's definitely not off the table. It has been recommended, it has been advised, it has not been required yet. A lot of the things about requiring overtime too in this type of position, if it's raining or something like that, then that changes the availability of the time to work on the weekends. But nothing's off the table. As the manager said, this is a multifaceted attack that this board has done, and I appreciate that. We have the contractors that are working on the weekends, and they've been with us since July of last year. We also have the thing coming down from the private company, which will be handing off 15 permits on Wednesday this week to that group. We don't know when they will have those completed, but that is definitely a great way to get some work off. And then the AOWE permits, which I think a lot of y'all have heard a lot about, they continue to come in hard and fast. Last week we issued 95 of them. So there's a lot of different ways that we are attacking this problem, and I just appreciate your support.
The AOWEs, for these folks that don't know, those are the private contractors doing those.
Correct, yes, sir. They do the perk test, as we've talked about, they do the drawing, and then we ultimately do the final. We don't know when that'll come in, but that'll be for us to handle whenever that comes our way.
And, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Conversation with Jason the other night, if the private contractors wasn't doing this, we'd be 95 more behind.
That's big,
Or 200 or
yeah.
300 more behind, because those would be permits that we would have to do through our health department.
And, Mr. Chairman, to Commissioner Yates's point here, I asked last week HR to pull the overtime hours that have been worked so far, and the bulk of the overtime has been worked during the week, extra hour here and there in the evenings. And it is a significant amount of hours, but Saturdays, just a grand total, I'm looking at 67.5 hours, and that's since January of 2022. So this is a way to get folks to come in and do more work on Saturdays and potentially on Sundays. So
A lot of that COVID related.
I think honestly,
Don't know.
I don't know, but
The overtime for that time? No, sir, none of that.
No. Oh, I thought you were referring to it for illness or something. No, I think that is just it comes Saturday. If they put in a lot of overtime hours during the week, they're taking a day off. Is really what it comes down to. And then also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, as part of this multi-prong attack kind of that we're looking at right now, that we've also had conversations with folks in other departments to kind of help out with these permits as we move forward, to be able to go out and verify sites that they've got the flags marked and all this so that if we're using Piedmont to come in, there's somebody's laid eyes on it, and we know that we've got more efficiency there that reduce the likelihood of having to pay a reinspection fee. And those departments have stepped up.
Mr. Chairman, can I take that one step further? Danny's not in the room now, but, Jason
One of them is,
Jason led a meeting with Lillian and, Bo, Danny, Scott was in the room, I think, and Thomas. So Thomas is here. He can hear it. We don't normally say good things about him too much, so we can do it now. These folks agreed to help with this site prep. No questions asked. Matter of fact, I think the word was, let's get started, let's go.
Good job.
Yeah, the exact word was, let's get it done. And that was everybody in the room. I think, I feel safe to say everybody in that room, including from the manager's office, will be going out doing that.
And all those folks have got good experience with boundary lines and things like that. The things that Lillian would be teaching them, hopefully, we're talking about basically checking the site to make sure the grass is mowed, things are ready to roll for when Jim and them come in there. It's not time wasted, because remember, Jim has a fee if he has to go out there and it's not site ready. So they're serving dual purposes. Plus, I just got a kick out of them jumping in and rolling their sleeves up and helping with no questions asked.
That sounds sort of like the Kansas City Chiefs when they came out of the locker room at halftime last night. Totally different team. Get the job done.
We should have a penalty too if they're not ready. And I don't think we have that now, but we need.
That's part of that fee discussion, I think. Lillian and Commissioner Shores is on that group, so we expect to see some fee changes coming soon. But you're right, we probably do need something to discourage folks. The only way to stop them is to have them in the pocketbook, for people to stop not listening and have their site ready to go.
And I can speak to that. I mean, when I've rode with environmental health for, about a week out there in the field, there were some of those. There were quite a few of them, actually. We got there to the site, they didn't have it marked.
Well, I say that, but now that I'm thinking through this, in the owner's defense, if you're 6 months getting there, your grass has growed up a couple times. When are you coming? We don't know when you're coming, so we can't have it mowed for you. So in their defense, I'd probably be a little ticked off that, look, I've mowed this thing 3 times. Don't have a clue when you're coming, and then when you come, it's too high. You want to charge me $100? I mean, so I can see that being a problem too. We don't have a schedule, so we need to discuss that.
Part of that's the OpenGov piece too that Jason's helped out with, and Lillian's group too. Getting those forms online. I think Jason kept the whole board updated on that last week. We've now gotten all those things facing public forward, and you can start using that to build your schedule. You can start having those maps that you saw with the dots on them, knowing when stuff's scheduled, when you're doing it, et cetera. So we sent out a blast to the contractors last week, the ones we know of anyway, which we have a pretty large database, saying, look, this stuff's online now. Please, 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 please stop sending paper up here. Fill these forms out. Darren, that way he ain't drowning in droves of paper over there. So.
And that they would know by OpenGov when we're coming, right?
I believe that is correct. They will see, and they can be. Yeah, they can be the citizen and contractors can be communicated to through OpenGov.
That's great. Okey-doke. That's something that we need to discuss. What we have before us is the environmental health shift premium policy for 60 days. We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Is that motion with the amendment that we'll do it for the 60 days?
Yeah, that was the motion.
Ready for a vote, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Could you report back to us on Monday? Would that give you enough time from Saturday's populations on where we was at with this? Because I think that's when you get it on a Monday morning, see what they done Saturday and Sunday.
Mr. Mike, did I get your vote? For some reason, it didn't come through.
He's probably like me, somewhere else.
Didn't get it.
I'm paying attention.
Here we go. And that motion carries by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other business?
Good luck.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Anybody that don't want to can stay.